Good evening and welcome back to Star Trek Reliant. I'm Bazag, your GM and host for today, and I'm playing my character Rick Saure, who has entered engineering and become the chief engineer of the Reliant. I want to do a quick reminder that we do have an email address, Reliant at Starbase UGC, so feel free to send us feedback, suggestions, fan art, whatever you want to share with us. We're happy to receive it. So, just send it whenever you want to. Alright, now time for some other people to introduce themselves. Let's go with the captain who isn't on the away team.
Hello, I am Marcus Graves, played by Duncan Idaho, and again, that email address is reliant@starbaseugc.com.
Let's go with our chaplain / bartender / security ensign.
Oh, hi, that's me. I'm Grumpy Old Nord. I play Chaplain Victor Waitley, the bartender Grimner Tiberius, and our most recent security ensign, Mary Shepard. And this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
And apparently the one holding the bag of responsibility for this session, this is our away mission, Kara.
Help me. I don't want to be in charge.
We do have today with us our chief medical officer.
Also, first officer. Hi, Eli O'Connor. I actually woke up this week. I'm still on the bridge. It's great.
And not to forget a lovable Nosigan.
Chorog, where? Oh, wait, that's me. Never mind. Hey, I'm Pirates Scum Gaming. How you doing?
Well, just to quick recap for you listeners and for Nick who wasn't here. The crew sent down as an away team, this Kara, Mary, Rick Tier, Setzer, and Chorog. I think that's everyone. Went to Saure to help officially open a new training facility on Saure to help prepare Saure who want to get into Starfleet Academy to get into Starfleet Academy. Eli is currently, I guess, on the bridge. But after some visiting to a zoo, visiting Rick's parents, and the away team has finally arrived at the facility and is just saw their first class, a very small class of like 4 people, doing computer studies, it seems. There's some Saure and Starfleet officials, but there is also a Cation in an unusual shirt who doesn't seem to be in any particularly official role while there. So after seeing the looking in and seeing the trainees, I guess you'd call them, studying and examining computers.
Cadets is probably the word.
Yeah, well, they're not really cadets yet. They haven't arrived at Starfleet Academy, so they're sort of pre-cadet. Rick asks a question to the away team. There's only about 4 or 5 students there. I was expecting more. The one of the Starfleet, the one that introduced you and brought you in there, replies and says, well, this is indeed our smallest class, yes, but considering our guest here is involved in the computer sciences of the Daystrom Institute, then we thought it rather appropriate. The Cation actually gets to introduce himself now. Hi, I'm Zaka. Currently at the Daystream Institute AI specialist, but more important, I was the chief engineer on the Valkyrie during first contact. This shirt was, well, let's just say a bit of a ship moniker, I guess. You must be the crew of the Reliant. Rick T, obviously I know. Well, I haven't met you before, but, well, you might, anyway, yes, you must be the crew of the Reliant. And he extends his paw out, to shake hands.
Kara bows slightly and takes his hand and shakes it and says, Kara Junrani, Lieutenant, currently in charge of this away team.
All right.
Chorog does a slight pirate salute. I'm Chorog, I'm security.
And the group goes around and introducing themselves. I won't make you guys all do it. Yeah, but he goes, Rick T, that was a good point. I was wondering that myself. But if it's the smallest class, I guess see what else is going on. Let's jump back up to the ship, Reliant for a moment. Captain is on the ship. Where are you, Dr. O'Connor?
Unless, could you hear me? There we go. Eli's on the bridge. Where's Graves? Is Graves on the surface? Or?
Graves would be up on the bridge as well.
Okay, then Eli's probably in his first officer's chair. If Graves is actually on the bridge itself and not in his ready room.
I am in the captain's chair.
Alright, yeah, then Eli is just sitting to the side. I got my own comfy chair, at least. Got cup holders.
We do have cup holders.
You have this rather nice drink sitting in there so that you can take a sip of at any time you so desire. Is there anything you want to do, either of you, as captain and first officer up on the ship?
Graves sighs and says, I did put Kara in charge of the tardigrade situation when we had that Koopa Troopa incident.
Yes, you did.
I mean, probably fine down there, right?
How much trouble can they get into down there?
Down on the
Not a
planet,
whole
Kara
lot.
suddenly sneezes.
Graves, I mean, if we are going to do this in a formal diplomatic way, do probably need a ranking officer down there.
Well, if you feel the need to go stretch your legs, I can take over the bridge for you.
Well, I mean, you've been spending a lot of time down in sickbay. I was wondering if you needed to stretch your legs.
Perhaps.
Would help Kara out a little bit, probably. Just take a little bit of that diplomatic pressure off.
I'm sure she... God damn it, I just read the Chorog. I lost my train of thought, thank you. I'm sure she could manage. Bryce and I trained her well, I'd like to think.
No. Idle curiosity about what's happening down there. You know, new academy building, probably all sorts of new nooks and crannies. Maybe some fun places to explore down there.
I see where you're getting at. I sure do. This is about to be in order, isn't it?
Well, not really in an ordered mood today.
Alright,
then
then
I'm probably... to tell her you're going down there.
I'm probably going to leave before this becomes an ordered move then, so... Yep, I'll get to the transporter. You down for drinks after?
Oh, definitely. I'm also going to say, you probably don't need to observe the uniform code if you want to wear something a little bit special.
I'm not gonna lie, I really... like these, they call this the Odyssey pattern, right?
Yeah, it's the Odyssey pattern.
I prefer what I used to wear over this. Like, don't get me wrong, it's nice, but...
What about a well-tailored suit?
No, trust me, I don't need the missiles to come out again.
Well, suit yourself. I'd try a cape, though.
I only put on the cape when I gamble. Or if I'm just feeling in extraordinarily sophisticated mood.
And you're not?
Not right now, no.
Alright. We'll catch drinks
Cape is for
afterwards.
Ryza, mostly.
Okay. So, yeah, we'll catch drink afterwards. And, yeah, if anything goes wrong, we'll, beam some missiles down. Probably.
At least I still got my shoe. Anyway, before I go, just thank you for letting me use my preferred comm badge instead of the regular one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm taking that, special order for captains to have a little bit more latitude with their, crew uniforms. And, yeah, letting people just have a little bit more life and variety around here.
My dad gave me this badge, so I like to wear it. Anyway, headed down now.
Yeah, I can understand.
Do you want me to bring you back a souvenir?
If you find something fun or embarrassing, sure.
Okay, I'll do my best. That might mean I need a camera, though. I'll go replicate one.
Okay.
Eli is off.
Alright, so whenever you do beam down, Eli beams down the same place, just sort of at the front of the school.
As soon as he arrives, Kara inwardly thinks, "Oh, great, another child to look after."
It doesn't take long for you to meet up with the rest of the crew, especially thanks to being director. There seems to be a lot of Starfleet personnel around, just keeping an eye on things and keeping track of both the classes going on as well as the tours that are happening.
As Kara thinks that, just so happens that Setsa is like looking in at some side room and is drifting off from the tour.
Give me a control, I guess security check for Setsa.
All right, let's see. Oh, that's not going to be terrible. 2 successes.
2 successes is enough for Setsa to slip off without any of the other staff realizing. So Setsa is off on her own in the building.
Setsa.
My life, everyone.
Setsa continues wandering.
All right. So as Setsa goes, she sees. She stumbles upon the an astrometrics lab. It's a fairly smallish lab, but has all the displays readouts of a simulated galactic map. In there, there's about another like 6 students that are just sort of going over studying and using it.
Setsa discreetly just takes observations from basically the door, not going in there and drawing attention to herself regarding the students, and just kind of gets a feel for what kind of computer systems they're running and what operating system they're running with.
It is pretty clear that it's a modern Federation standard operating system. A bit probably a more feature-rich version, I guess you could say, than what the Reliant has. It's just sort of it's very much in that sort of that kind of it's very much the blue LCARs that is common in the 2409 era.
Setsa continues her way along her self-guided tour.
All right, so for the most part, Setsa is left alone. She sort of she's sort of, as a Starfleet personnel, she fits in enough that people don't give her a second look, and she is left to wonder and see if you have any ideas of what particular areas she wants to find in. We can let me know, and we can look at that. But for now, The other group, you're led to the remainder of the team is led to what amounts to a more a simulated engineering lab.
Kara wanders along and has no clue what 90% of this stuff does.
Would you the Starfleet personnel that's giving you the tour goes? Would any of I know a number of you, Engineer Rick Amzaka, perhaps other members of the Reliant team would be interested in examining these facilities a bit more closely. Rick looks to Kara and Nick to say, well, he sort of just shrugs, looks to see what the people in charge have to say.
As Kara looks around for opinions, she notices Setsa's gone. Oh! She looks around before finishing her curse. Darn it! I believe we've lost one of our number.
Oh yes, sorry, yes, she looks towards Eli. He looks towards Eli, sorry, Nick. And yeah, so, that's not really a problem. I'd like to have a pattern of these things, but if it's, I suppose we should go find her to make sure that everything is all right.
Of course we should. You don't know what happened at the zoo.
Oh, real quick, if they're going to try to track her on the scanners, let's have Setsa's Borg implants automatically try to defeat the scanning apparatus and render her invincible on sensors.
Okay, well then let's do this as an opposed check. Let's do reason. Whoever's doing the scanning, let's do reason science. Opposed by reason science.
I've only just arrived. What happened at the zoo? Eli whispers to Kara.
Don't ask.
Is it that bad? My God.
2 successes.
What did I get myself into?
Alright, so who wants gonna do the scan, Kara or Eli?
Let's do both. They both got tricorn.
Kara's not going to do it that way. She'd probably just think to herself where Setsa would go and go in that direction.
Okay, give me an insight command check for Kara then.
And what was the roll for actual tricorder?
Reason science.
Reason? Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, yeah. I'm looking at the right thing, yeah.
Okay, 1 success. Sorry, I rolled the dice separately because I mistyped. Whatever.
Would my focus of xenobiology help?
With this, I guess you're picking up, trying to specifically narrow AB biological signatures, so I'll count that.
Alright, sweet.
Okay, so, that's a tie between Setsa and most of the tie rules. Let's just do a 1d100 off. Whoever gets the highest number succeeds. Oh, we can't do that. Just do a 1d20, and we'll use the raw result.
I said Kai goes to Defender.
World GM's rule is law. Dang.
Yes.
Alright, so Eli is not able to identify Setsa. The general rule, I believe, is that the quote-unquote active player, but, I mean, who's the active player in this count? Someone who's,
yeah, because that's just doing this subconsciously, so...
yeah, but still Setsa remains, unidentifiable through the life signs scan. Kara, starts to wander off a bit towards the way that you came, and it turns down a road. Give me another. That's this time insight security.
Just grabbing my sheet real quick. Oh, there you go. 2 successes.
Okay, so this time you actually you pass the astrometrics lab and meet Setsa at the doors to exobiology.
Kara just walks up behind her and taps her shoulder. You wandered off, Osagilia.
I did, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
I found exobiology.
Yes, and you don't seem to have caused a trail of chaos, so well done for that.
We all have good days.
Shall we rejoin the group? Provided they didn't, I guess, move while I was coming to get you.
No, I mean, exobiology's right here. Might have some cool stuff in there.
I'm not going to convince you to come back before you see what's in there, am I?
No. Nothing's fluffy.
Okay. Fine. Let's go see what's in there, then we go back to the group. Agreed?
Right. Agreed. You can take a quick peek.
Okay.
So as you
opens the door to the exobiology lab.
Yeah, so as you enter, there is a number of stations settled down, which are just essentially countertops, but with various scanning and magnification equipment. Setzer is quite... you're both really actually quite familiar with this equipment. And there's... One side of the lab, there's a couple of live specimens. On the other side, there's some rather dissected specimens. There's one that is like... that is not a tribble, but it's like a tribble with legs.
Setsa takes a look at it tries to avoid looking at the dissected specimens and focuses over at the live ones.
Kara pretty much regards both with equal indifference. Although when she notices the tribble thing with legs, she just kind of goes, huh, I didn't think being soft and round was an evolutionary advantage.
As you talk to it, it starts sort of screaming. Tribbles have that soft coo. This is sort of more like a high-pitched static kind of sound.
Ah, there's the defensive countermeasure. Where's the sound dampening equipment? Kara looks around to engage the sound dampening equipment around that particular sample.
Yeah, you're familiar enough with laboratory environments that you notice a quick dampening field that you can quickly activate, and the sound just sort of it's not totally gone, but it's nowhere near as harsh or as loud as it was.
Kara nods and waits for Setsa to look around at all the cute things.
So
Setsa continues to look around.
Yeah, so there's some what you've got here mostly seem to be somewhat of a give me actually insight reason science with any what focuses do you have that could apply?
One from me too, or just her?
If you want to know what animals you're dealing with, you can roll. Ecology will work. Okay, both Kara and Setsa are able to pick up. These are mostly juveniles from various planets. They're actually some pretty obscure animals from out some of the newer Federation members. They're all pretty innocuous in terms of their capabilities. They're more like herbivores. some as part of the tribble with legs. That was that is purely like a grass grazing animal. There's some other like reptile. There's it's sort of like a mix between an echidna and a platypus. I don't know if you can visualize that in your mind, but just think of a platypus that has spikes on its back as well. So it's as purely as a defensive measure.
Kara spends a moment looking around. Saure Science Lab. She makes as if she's typing on an imaginary, terminal. Mostly harmless.
Leslie giggles, tail wagging, just continuing to inspect the wildlife until she's gone through the full row.
Kara spends some time with the platypus echidna, finding it quite interesting.
I mean, you see all sorts of animals bundled up in this one animal, and it's sort of interesting just to see how much elements and bits were taken from here, from there, from all over the place.
Kara, mostly to herself, simply remarks, "I've always had a fondness for monotremes."
And with that, finally Setzer and Kara are able to get back and rejoin. As the other group, the other group hasn't really had much interesting stuff to do in terms of seeing new things. They've sort of been wandering around, and once Kara has been come back, Kara and Setzer come back. The group sort of reforms as they sort of started to form a search party.
When Kara comes back, she's got her tail wrapped around one of Setz's wrists, kind of leading her along. "I brought my Sujala back. We saw some strange things in an exobiology lab. Although I guess self-guided tours aren't exactly what we're here for."
Well, time is sort of a bit running short here, so we've been... I probably should just take you right to the end. The staff lead officer pipes up. This is going to be a security training dojo. I believe that's what they're calling it. And
it's truly a shame. I was looking forward to seeing your medical facilities.
Oh well. Well, we could do that later if you're interested, but we really have to get going. The ceremony is coming up pretty quickly.
Sounds good. I might come back later and watch people get thrown around, though.
And as you so you're led down sort of like the opposite side of the building. It's a bit of a longer corridor. And as you approach, it's the thing you notice is that there is a large section just labeled security with martial arts, close combat quarters. There's even divisions for like sniper, shot, like close range, short range weapons. And like medium range, so there's sort of a long. There's very different areas split up, and there's about as you look through each of them, there's about say about 35 more people in each of these classes. By far the largest group that you've ever seen in the class. These are either training or just examining, learning how to configure, remodulating. There's all kinds of various training that is going on with weapons and like more martial arts, close combat stuff.
Kara hangs back for a second and walks next to Chorog and just looks over at him. Want to do some guest teaching later? We can see who can toss a Saure the farthest.
You got a deal.
All right.
I
Well,
promise not to break them too hard.
Rooms are padded for a reason.
So, that is the a brief tour. We can get going as he gets interrupted by Mzaka. There's quite a large disparity between sciences, engineering, and other sections. Is this all what's going on? And the Starfleet regard. Well, yes, this is the Saure have by and large mostly focused on applying for the more security elements. There is we have seen a number that perhaps would also be good for other more scientific or construction techniques, but this is what they are signing up to join us.
Kara looks over at Sarkin and just says, would you be surprised if you went to Bolus and found a lot of engineering recruits? If you went to Andoria and found a lot of tactical recruits? If you went to Vulcan and found a lot of science recruits? Some species, just for cultural reasons, have a significant draw to one area.
Well, when we Mzaka vibes up, when we first came in, almost the entirety of their civilization was devoted to engineering and scientific pursuits. That's
Well, at that time, their planet was also under threat of supernova, and they were trying everything they could think of to survive. Necessity is the mother of invention, perhaps, but also it definitely helps choose your career path.
Well, I guess, but there's to see such an imbalance, though. I mean, I would have expected, yes, a majority of them, but not to such extent that what is that 80-90% of the personnel here are in security. I haven't done the numbers, but just a rough estimate. All right. Well, anyway, I guess that's the tour done. We are ready. Getting the ceremony involved. In the quad, which is through this way. If you would like to join us, we can get started.
And Kara has kept her tail wrapped around Setz's wrist to make sure she doesn't wander off. Again.
She tries, but to no avail.
Eli looks around. Is Chorg still with us?
I just talked to him a second ago.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm here, right behind you.
All right. I thought, okay, yeah, you're still good then. I just was...
Don't worry, I haven't wandered off and tried to steal anything yet.
Wait. Excuse me? Did Eli whispers to Kara, did he just say yet?
Hey, you're in charge, Mr. Bossman. You got the brass. She gives him finger guns.
Chorog, don't steal anything or I'll have to put you in the brig.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
I'm taking away the replicator permissions in the brig so you only have water and tofu.
I'll just eat the deck plating, what do I care?
Well then.
All right, so you're led out to the quad. There is bleachers set up. There's quite a lot of Saure, a significant section of like Admiralty and administrative civilian Federation bureaucrats of various sorts, all sitting down. There is a section that is specifically reserved for the crew of the Reliant. Mzaka sits next to Rick, who is just part of that block, and the ceremony starts. Yes, there is Abmaster Sugihara, who is just already talking the ear off of one of his Saure counterparts.
Kara
Roll
quickly
to not
turns.
make contact.
Kara quickly turns the group away. Move slowly. Don't make eye contact. He'll never shut up.
But
Setsa is pulling at Kara's arm, or Kara's tail, to try to move faster.
fortunately, he's so engaged in conversation that he doesn't really particularly notice the crew. And he's a bit far away anyway, so it would take significant intervention, I guess is the word, for him to not only notice, but to make an active effort to come and talk to you. So, as you sit down, you seem to be safe from the hazard that is Ambassador Shugihara.
Setsa tries to position herself between Kara and Mary to make sure that she is not seen.
This proves difficult considering how short Kara is.
Setsa tries her best.
Fortunately, the Saure that are between them are much significantly larger, and from where they're sitting, you can't actually see Shugihara. So I'm going to officially mark you all safe from that hazard.
Not even a roll. Nice.
I was about to say, he says that till we roll double 20s.
I mean, if you want to do a roll for it, I will let Setsa do one.
Yes, do it.
Yes, we're gonna do it. Okay, so what's the roll?
Let's do control command.
All right.
Fortunately, you are able to get there without. Yeah, there is no attention.
So I gotta roll
gained.
this. I gotta roll this too. Hold on a second. Control command, you said?
Control command.
Mary
Alright.
has to roll too.
This time, I'm going to spend 3 threat.
Oh shit.
Okay. So
What am I rolling?
if you want to actively avoid Shugihara, roll command. Control command.
Oh no! Oh no! My brain slipped and I forgot. No, Mary's going to take one for the team. She's going to distract him.
Okay, so it's good because the glint of the glint of Dr. Eli's unusual badge that he got from his father.
It's not even unusual. It's a Dominion War era.
Dominion War. Well, it is unusual here at the moment. He's a much more standard command structure, but this is upper echelon of Starfleet. They got to be more reserved in their choices, let's say.
More than anything, I thought the ginger hair would have been, a more eye-catching thing.
Perhaps you don't really know what it specifically is that caught the attention, but almost suddenly there is a turn, and you get the clear eye contact between you and Shugihara, who decides to make a beeline towards the crew after dismissing his current talking partner. Unfortunately, Mary, give me a control security check. Grumpy control security from Mary.
I think he's working on it.
Need to put the roll. You just put 2d20.
There we go. Yeah, that is enough to distract and take up enough Shugihara's time that announcement is made over the public address system for everyone. Please take their seats as as the Starfleet personnel who took you on the tour, along with a couple of Saure, arrive up on a podium that's in front of you all. Fortunately, that has forced Sugihara to scuttle back to his position before actually interrupting any of you. Thank you, everyone, for coming. We will keep this brief. Students are still studying, but it is important that we recognize and celebrate the connection that the Federation and the Saure people have together, and it sort of drones on for a bit. The speech notes the strong ties that have been built, that that a friendship has formed, that even though that the Saure would be welcome at any time to join the Federation, that it is gratefully appreciated that many Saure are signing up to defend the Federation, to help the Federation during this troublesome time, and that that the sacrifices of leaving their home, joining a community that is not their own, and all this other kind of language and motivation is spoken as they as they announce, and it is finally, and it is great pleasure that we introduce the Saure commandment I can't pronounce. Commandant. There we go. Commandant of the school, who is here as our chief counselor, looking after the needs of the school and its students. Thank you, Command. I still cannot say that word. Commandant. Anyway, and there's another speech Saure from the point of view of the Saure as 40 years ago our system was dying, and despite our best efforts, the future looked grim. We didn't have much, but we had had our community, had each other to lean on. And it was the Federation who gave us the one thing that we needed to live. Not technology, not anything else, but they gave us the time to slow down the effects of the system, time for us to build and develop our own starships, time and space to evacuate our people to this new planet, a planet that was identified and brought to us by the starship Valkyrie. It is of great pleasure, of great import that we step today here with the Federation, with Starfleet as our first member of the Saure race has joined a commissioned starship. Rick here, many of you know. And we could not be more proud, that his efforts, the efforts of his crew, and the efforts of Starfleet have shown that we can work together. There is still much for us to do, for us to grow, for us to be worthy of joining Starfleet, the Federation, as a full member. But for now, we give you what you gave us, our time. Thank you.
Kara applauds politely.
That's also applauds politely.
All right. So with that, thank you for your speeches. There is only one task left to do, and that is to cut the ribbon. A tradition that extends far back within human and other cultures within the Federation. So, with little further ado, and he pulls out from behind the lectern this gigantic pair of scissors, and approaches a ribbon that is just at the front of the stage to the side. As he opens the scissors, I declare this educational facility open, and with that, he slams the scissors down. The ribbon falls, and the vast majority of the audience starts vigorously applauding.
Kara leads the applause of the small group.
Claps continue and then die down as the people up on the podium just sort of awkwardly step down. What do you do after gigantic speech let down? Just walk off stage, and it's slightly awkward, but you're sort of used to it.
Kara nudges Setsa. See, this is why you always need a band to play you off at the end.
And for now, there's just a mix of discussion between the diplomatic and bureaucratic and administrative staff, both Federation, both Starfleet, and of the Saure people. So if you want to say anything to Mzak or need anyone else, you're welcome to do so.
Kara looks to Eli to see if he's about to give any orders.
Sorry, I didn't hear that. He cut out for me, so...
We're basically free to do as we wish.
Yeah.
Alright, so what does everyone want to do? I personally want to see the medical facility, but I understand how some of you may not be interested in that.
Me and Chorog have a saw throwing contest to get to.
Excuse me?
I said we're going to go guest speak at the security lessons.
Yeah, what Kara said.
Hey, I kind of want to see that before I go check out the medical facility. Says, yeah, are you with us, everyone else?
I suppose so.
Alright, let's go watch that, and I'm checking out the medical facility after.
Kara nods and hops up and heads back to the security area.
You see Sugahara come after you, but you're sort of rushing off again. So he's sort of...
roll.
Oh, don't now. Kara will invite him along to help assist the lecture.
I want to roll.
Do it.
Hey, we could have an ambassador tossing contest.
If Jiro follows these people, he's an idiot. I feel like Jiro should be rolling.
Yeah, actually, yes, he will. Hang on. And as he sees you going off, he notices that you're actually going into the security area, stops, pauses for a bit, and then just slowly backs away.
Now in a tank top with a big metal arm, and she slams one fist into the other.
All right, so who's going to be doing the teaching? Kara, Chorog, anyone else?
Well, Sets is gonna be there, but basically her standpoint is she's just trying to be helpful. So if anyone volunteers her to help demonstrate, she will totally go along with that.
Eli is just there observing and supporting the crew.
All right, class. If your teacher doesn't mind, I'd like to take over instruction for a moment and show you a couple of high-level tips for close-quarters combat. These are things I've learned throughout my career. And as for everything I've learned, well, Chorog's probably forgotten more than I'll ever know.
Kara is not wrong.
So there are plenty of Saure there who are willing to engage with you in training. Or there's obviously Setzer. So who do you want to pull in?
Kara just tries to find one of the larger-looking, Saure who looks interested, and figures that this will be a good demonstration of how not to, underestimate small opponents.
All right, time for an opposed roll.
Okay, do you want daring or fitness?
Daring for now. Okay, so as the Saure approaches, he goes for just a basic swing. It would connect. But Kara, you're able to grab his hand and angle it just slightly the right way, using your biological knowledge to essentially cause him to face plant into the ground. Just that's the sort of the way that the momentum goes, and he sort of his nose is like he's it's not. What's the word for the snout? There we go. Snout is pressed sideways into the ground, and he's looking uncomfortable as you've now got his arm twisted around the back.
Kara calmly gives a lecture about, the physics behind this, and after a bit lets go of his arm, which she had in her metal left hand. She then helps him up. Although inwardly she's thinking to himself, he didn't fly very far at all, I'm not going to win this.
Chorog takes it upon himself to remove his dress coat and wants to address the class on how to disarm an armed combatant in close quarter combat.
Okay, there are dummy pistols. Do you want a pistol or rifle? What do you want?
I was also going to ask if the Saure have any specific cultural weapons they might have on hand.
I was going to go over how to disarm someone wielding a blade, but I can do
Okay,
it.
there are blades as well. So this blade is it is a fairly basic, simple blade. It's built for a purpose, and it's basically just like a sharp letter opener. Slicer. I'm gonna go with what Kara call it a slicer, simply because that's the kind of people they are.
All right, class. I am going to instruct you on how to disarm a combatant coming at you with a blade. This happens more often than you would think. I want a volunteer.
You get a volunteer, so... Oh.
Setsa tries to raise her hand, but Kara grabs her hand and pulls it back down.
There are also a number of volunteers that Chorog gets to choose from.
Chorog sees all the very eager ones and sees one towards the back that's not quite that eager. You in the back, step forward.
Alrighty then. It takes a moment as this sort of actually confirms that you mean me.
No, the one behind you. Of course, I mean you.
Okay, so he gulps slightly and hesitantly stands up and approaches. He's given the knife, as you seem to indicate. That's what you need, a weapon to disarm.
Chorog hands him the Saure slicer, takes a few good steps back, says, "Stab me."
He looks
Come
back.
on.
Yeah, he looks back to the actual trainer just to get verification that he should actually legitimately try and properly stab someone, just because it seems sort of, even a training seems sort of awkward, but he gets a nod, and He's sort of, alright, after a bit of hesitancy, he goes for it. Let's do the rolls.
What am I rolling?
Daring security.
The Saure lunges at Chorog in a vain attempt to stab him.
Yeah.
Chorog grabs his wrist, hits his elbow. He drops the knife. Chorog firmly plants him on a thorn, puts his boot on his chest. Looks up at the class.
Hold on,
Any questions?
You both got 2 successes.
Yeah, so the 15 is a failure on this one. So that's why I didn't have it interrupted. This was completely successful.
Gotcha.
I was going to say there was no skill stated for the SAR. It was just 1 or 2d20. So exactly how the computer was determining successes, who knows?
It assumes that everything is a success if there's nothing. But anyway, continue, Chorog.
Anyway, Chorog grabs his wrist, cracks his elbow. The sword drops the slicer. Chorog immediately plants him on the ground, puts a boot on his chest, looks up at the other students. Any questions?
You actually do get a few questions about specific nature, why you hit where you hit, like the positioning of the arms, the positioning of the blade, and questions of the movement. So that is definitely asked and goes on.
Chorog goes around and helps, critique form as well. Legs wider, not so stiffly, etc.
Give me a reason security for both of you.
2 successes for Kara.
And so yeah, you both add important information, and this all seems to get and as you see him after he's gotten up, as you see his form shift and like he starts sort of practicing movements, so like and you can see that his form actually has improved.
Kara goes a couple rounds, and eventually someone's able to nail her pretty good in the stomach, and she stumbles back. Okay, good.
Both of you give me a fitness security check. Do you have close quarters combat, Chorog?
Well, in that case, you should have
I have hand to hand.
Okay, I will count that. So it sort of wears you down, but you're used to this kind of combat, and if you want to try and this is sort of you're throwing the sword check roll. Kara did actually manage to get hers a bit sore near the end, as she managed to sort of flip using the soul's own momentum to flip him over and fall behind her about a couple of feet back.
She does this also mostly with her left arm, which proves to be a great deal stronger than her right arm.
Chorog still manages to throw, but it doesn't seem to get as far a distance as anywhere near the distance that Kara did.
Setsa raises her hand.
Yes, Usajilia?
Can I help? I mean, I've just been kind of standing here, kind of, want to help demonstrate stuff.
Kara shrugs and wipes some sweat off of her face and says, Chorog?
Yeah, sure, go ahead. You can help out with I know you're pretty handy with a phaser. Why don't you teach these cadets some targeting?
There we go. Quick break, everybody. We get some ranged combat.
Setsa just kind of blinks because phasers isn't a specialty.
Security isn't a specialty in general of hers, but she offered to help.
Okay, well, we'll see how this goes. Setsa steps up to the firing range and looks for a phaser.
Okay, so there are phasers that have some kind of security lock, sort of basic armory. you've been, as you're part of security and part of the team, as you're part of the Reliant and part of the team that will come here for training, they let you provide you access to the armory and give you the phaser. And you're ready as you stand to the firing range. What kind of targets do you want? Moving, standard, that pop in, then pop out, or just static targets?
Setsa's going to choose a static target just as a warm-up.
All right, so this is going to be just a base 1 check, control security. And you
2 successes.
2 successes, so you hit that static target right in the center.
As she goes about this, Kara moves over and gestures to Setsa as though she's, basically the training model, and indicates various parts of her body and the way that she is set up to shoot and the way she is aiming. And, basically talks about her form, what she's doing right, and what she could do better.
Okay, give me a present security check. 1 success and 1 complication. So
I'm already going to call the complication that Kara is caught staring at certain parts of Setsa while she's giving this talk. But it is reasonably helpful. So long as no one is watching exactly where Kara is looking most of the time.
I'm going to...
Chorog also weighs in about form and finger placement on the grip of the weapon to ensure that while aiming you don't accidentally trigger it and get a false shot.
Okay, a number of Saure cadets notice Kara and they start sniggering.
Kara cracks her knuckles. Oh, I think I just heard some volunteers for close quarters training. You 3, over here.
As you say that, they suddenly stifle their laughter, look at each other somewhat scared, and sheepishly approach.
Chorog mutters under his breath as they walk by. Your funeral.
Setsa's completely oblivious to this and moves on to moving targets.
All right. This will be. What are you going to do, Kara?
She's going to give them a very quick crash course on how to handle unexpected attacks from strange directions.
Okay, give me daring security.
Ooh.
Okay, so you do. The Saures do almost. They almost keep up with you. But each one just misses timing as on the last hit that you had in your little setup, and they each one by one go down.
Kara nods. And the lesson to this, gentlemen, don't laugh at a commanding officer. She helps them up and off to the med bay.
All right, so Setsa, give me a control security. Now with moving targets, this will be a standard difficulty 2 roll.
But will she get any help from the instructions she just received from both Chorog and Kara?
I will. Setsa will have. What's Setsa's security?
2.
I will give Setsa an extra die.
I was going to say, we could just have Chorog roll to assist.
Oh, yeah.
Chorog is going to be giving feedback and also helping Setsa to show them how to track a moving target.
Okay, so yeah, with the rolls that you've done, Chorog can do an assist. No problem.
Because I have hand-to-hand, that's technically firearms expertise. And I also have small arms.
Yeah, small arms is the one that's going to apply. So does Setsa have 2 or 3 dice?
2 with a roll from Chorog.
What am I rolling?
Okie dokie.
Just
Oh, unless you
roll.
critical it.
Just roll control security.
I will laugh if he criticals it, and that's why she can do this.
Okay, so that is one success,
Yeah.
which is not enough. So Seth said, in her shots, she sort of raises one of the targets, but in an area that wouldn't have hit if what was, the actual target. And another couple will just straight out miss as she tries and sort of gets distracted by Chorog.
That was a very good shot, but there isn't. I can tell you right away, everybody, what went wrong. What happened was you do not actually train your weapon on the target while it's moving. You have to train just ahead of the target because don't forget, your weapon will take time to hit the target. So if you try to aim directly at the target, it's going to miss. But if you train your weapon slightly ahead, you will hit it every time.
All right. With that, Kara and Dr. O'Connor are heading out towards the med bay. There is signs clearly marking it to the med bay. It's both the sort of medical facility as well as sort of the medical training.
Wait, I'm being joined? Is it really wise to leave those two alone?
Look, I need to get these guys, she gestures to the three beaten and bruised Saure, off for some medical attention. I'm not so callous as to leave them back to training.
I was saying that out of character.
Well, I don't know. If you're saying that out of character, note it next time. It sounded like something Eli would say.
Nah, Eli'd be happy to have someone joining. Come on, let's go. Yippee.
All right, so you enter the what amounts to a training hospital, and things are well laid out. You have what seems to be a senior doctor, an actual qualified There's perhaps about 3 actual qualified doctors, and about another 6 or so actual trained to be doctors, and another 5 or 6 for nursing and other medical ancillary services.
Noting that most of the personnel are trainees, Kara has an inward pang of regret for how she roughed up the class.
Let's bring them forward. Doctor!
Doctor, what do we have here?
Just some, trainees getting roughed up in the dojo over there.
So,
Demonstration got a little intense, it seems.
Oh, well, the accidents do happen, especially within security. That is, expected, unfortunately. Alright, so he turns and...
A pint of sweat is worth a gallon of blood.
And he actually nods as he turns and orders some security, some of the trainee staff to assist, as he looks on and sees them attempt to diagnose. So that's that. And fortunately, it's just sprains and contusions. Nothing that needs any kind of serious. But they do pack up some ice and other basic first aid kind of things to soothe and to deal with potential swelling and other minor complications from the injuries they received from Kara.
Kara wouldn't have done it that bad, but immediately I'm just thinking of Brunt at the end of the mission Quark 7.
Well, that is one mission I haven't played.
Exactly how just the side of fatal.
All right, so with the trainees tending to their Saure counterparts, What do Eli and Kara do?
I'd like to look around at their equipment, see how top of the line it is.
Kara gives Eli a pat on the back and heads back to join Mary and Chorog and Setsa.
Now hold on just a minute. I wish to walk back with you because I would like to have words with you after, but this shouldn't take long.
Acknowledged, Commander.
Man, when did I become commander?
She heads out anyway.
It doesn't take you much. This stuff is pretty new. Same thing as what you've noted in other areas of the facility. The equipment is design is all brand new, up to date, modern technology. This facility, from what you can gather, is to make sure that the Saure are comfortable and can use modern Federation tech within whatever field of study they go in, making sure that they're familiar with all the equipment.
All right.
So as you join Kara, the two of you head off back to the security training area. What do Chorog and Setsa do in the meantime while they're gone?
Oh, Kara was taking the injured to be treated. Chorog had taken this particular time to, get them standing around and explaining the inner workings of a hand phaser, settings, what to do, what not to do, how to field strip it, how to clean it, how to change the power cord in a rapid manner, that kind of thing.
All right, so sets I guess will just be an extra pair of hands for you to do that, holding up things as you talk about them, and
our very own Vanajagoro.
He's happy to help.
What is the rest of the crew doing while the four of them are there? Oh, Mary's there too. What everyone?
Indeed, she is.
What's everyone else doing?
Kara's just going to towel off, put her jacket back on, and wait to see what kind of talk Eli wants to have.
Eli comes back after the medical bay. Well, I told you I wasn't going to be long, and this conversation's not going to be long either. I just wanted to say I'm impressed with how well you've acclimated to the arm.
Kara did not expect this particular comment and just looks confused for a second and says, thank you. Yeah, it's working really well.
I'd say more than really well. You're excelling with it. When my father gave Checkers his arm, it took him at least a good half a year for him to actually pick up a glass without smashing it, crushing in his hands.
Kara shrugs and looks down at her left hand and says, well, I don't actually think it's possible, but I've had other people say that, I guess, Ibby, you're just well-suited to cybernetics, so I don't know. I know that it's definitely not uncommon among our people, so, even elective procedures are quite common, especially among the IOD.
Personally think it might have something to do with the psychology of it. You seem more happy with it.
Kara shrugs. If it wasn't for the hive mind, the Borg would probably be onto something.
Well, I'm not one for cybernetics myself, but I do love making them.
Well, in that case, I'll be sure to keep you gainfully employed. She gives him a smile.
Just let's try not to lose them in the heat of the moment again, because that had me worried. You're my friend. I don't want to lose you.
Kara looks embarrassed and scratches behind one of her ears and says, yeah, well, Starfleet is not exactly quite as happy to do elective procedures as the IOD is, so
exactly.
For now,
so
it's mostly going to be the arm unless something else happens.
So don't intentionally go getting another arm or leg taken off, but if it does happen, I'll be here.
I thank you for that, and don't worry. That really hurt when that happened.
I can imagine. I looked at. I kind of felt that, you know.
Well, do you think we should go check on him? I'm not sure if leaving Mary and Chorog alone with a group full of trainees is a great idea.
It's more experience for the medical cadets.
Well, technically a lot more experience for the security cadets, too, but maybe they should pace out the experience a little.
I don't think they have the time to pace the experience with our time so limited down here, but I see your point. Let's go check on them.
And you arrive to see Chorog just finishing up reassembling the phaser after being handed the last piece by Setzer.
Ooh, nice. Field stripping.
Chorog places the final piece of the phaser back together, holds it up for the group to see. Says a properly working, properly assembled, properly cleaned phaser is the difference between you living and you suffering the pain of a disruptor bolt to the gut.
Kara raises her hand teasingly and then looks at him and says, "Pretty neat. What could you do with the parts from 3 phasers?"
The Federation instructor pipes in and say, "This is not an engineering class. Perhaps that is better left for later when we don't have a chance of people exploding themselves, shall we?"
Yeah, I don't think this group can handle it. I don't want to be responsible for one of these guys vaporizing themselves.
Kara has a grin on her face but stifles any laughter and says, "Acknowledged, sir. I was just thinking of a little cross-disciplinary training."
Maybe for the advanced class, but not these guys.
Kara looks at the cadets. "Well, there's something to look forward to, then."
As you actually look over them, you do see some rather interested in the idea of putting not only like phases together to make a stronger, more powerful one, but in the potential destructive, explosive nature that such a thing could occur. You've got a few perhaps demolition experts that you in the making there.
Well, Chorog does like big booms, and he cannot lie.
And with that, that's the end. I think as we wrap up the training and exploration of the facility, I don't think there's anything more you want to do. I'm going to take the silence as a no. So,
No, not at present.
thank you for joining us. Don't forget, we do have the email, reliantstarbase.udc.com. Thank you for joining us on this little adventure as we delved into New Saw and the Soul Society a bit. Thank you.
Remember.
Wait. Can I
Wait
go?
for what?
Yeah, go.
I was gonna say, like, I thought we were just like wrapping up at like the facility, not like the entire episode.
Oh,
Because
well,
it's only 9:30.
okay, well, that's all I really had planned for the adventure. So, what?
Okie dokie. Can we do like a Club 42 scene?
Okay, so after everyone's resolved back to the ship, got your returning back orders to return back to the exploration. It's going to take a long trip to get there. Rick's got some ideas how that may be able to get a bit faster, but we'll see how that goes. And once you're all back in space, heading through the asteroid shell of the system and back into warp space, the crew on off duty meet up in Club 42.
Kara just sits down at the bar and holds up a finger, and Grimnir slides her a cold soma.
Marcus is already there with an Irish coffee.
Chorog walks in, sits down at the bar, nods to Grimnir for the usual, turns to Kara and says, "You seem to be a history buff for old weapons. Do you remember the old 23rd century Federation phaser?"
Which one? The Type 3, the Type 2, or the Type 1?
The Type 3, the big boy.
Yeah, I always thought those things were funny looking, but you could blow down a door with one. The Nadion expansion beam was also quite fun. Caused a nice little explosion near the target.
If you put 4 power cores in that thing, you could blow up a building with it.
Didn't Pike's crew have to do that once? I seem to recall something about some planet that's restricted or something.
No, that was they had a big artillery phaser. I'm talking about when those Type 3s properly modified could pretty much blow up a building. I can show you how we can make one.
Deal. But we have to do it on the holodeck, or I think the captain or Riptier or, well, maybe a lot of people will be quite angry.
Well, we better reinforce that holodeck. I don't want to be the one responsible for blowing a hole in it.
Eli enters the bar, gets a... Sorry.
Kara just says quietly, better that than the engineering lab.
You have a point.
Grimnir,
Oi!
I want an entire bottle of tequila. And don't worry,
Just
it's not all for
one?
me, I'm sharing it.
Oh.
You know, when you... Okay, you know, 2. 1 for me, 1 for... Yeah, make it 2.
He brings over a couple bottles. Says this should do ya.
Alright, and he's taken the bottles of tequila over and sitting next to Graves.
So, productive vision?
For the most part, for the short time I was there, we escaped an hours-long talk, just barely, I think. Made contact with... You want to guess who?
The Saure?
Well, I'm talking Federation-wise. Like we made eye contact, and we barely escaped. Because it would have been an hour-long talk. That...
Yeah, I think I get ya.
Ding ding, I think you know exactly who. Saw a medical lab, and Kara and Chora kick some ass. Hence the medical lab.
So, nothing else went wrong down there?
As far as I'm aware.
Oh. It can't be all bad, so...
I was told about a zoo, but I'm not sure what happened there. Eli uncorks one of the bottles of tequila and pours himself a glass, just straight.
Kara's report is scant on details.
Marcus looks over to the bar to Kara and says, "Hey, what happened to the zoo?"
Kara sighs and turns around. Skipper got in and rode on a turtle. Chorog tried to fight a rhinoceros. And I think there's about 20 plushies missing from the gift store that are somewhere. We'll have to ask Skipper where.
Yeah. You got Skipper, right? Like, she's back on the ship.
And out of character, I'll just say, I was going to wait to pull that joke until the very, very end. Kara looks around. Wait, where is Skipper?
You don't see her immediately.
Somewhere on the asteroids sits Skipper in a mound of plush animals. Asteroid goes zoom.
Captain, would you like me to file an expense report with Starfleet Command?
Make it so.
Of course, I'll get to that. Well, probably tomorrow. Tonight is for tequila.
Yeah. Sounds like a fun compromise.
Yep, I got you a bottle too. I'm not sure if you like yours with salt or I just drink mine straight.
No, I don't have tequila.
Never had to.
Oh, no. I mean, haven't really spent much time on Earth.
Enough. Give it a sip. Let's see what you think. It's...
Marcus has a swig and shakes his head and nods. It says, "Yeah, not bad, but yeah, not alcohol."
Some people temper the taste with they suck on a lime afterwards or salt.
Yeah,
I like the taste as is.
Marcus has another swig.
So is all good with you?
Yeah, just got some reports done. Hung out on the bridge. Talked with Bryce. And toured the ship a little bit. And that was about it. I guess nice regular day for a Federation crew.
Is there anything you need help with? Anything you want to talk about? I'm here.
Nothing I really need help with. Kind of rubs the back of his neck. I don't really know.
Please, I'm your first officer, and I'm also your friend. I insist if there's something that's on your mind that is bothering you, he just starts, downing the cup of tequila he's got, pouring himself another glass.
Another time, perhaps. For right now, I'm just happy to hang out with my crew and relax for an evening.
Well, that's all one could really ask for.
Yep. He takes a third swig. Skipper spore jumps into the the club with her mound of plushies and begins trying to secure them away from the floor panel.
Skipper thinks and then has a better idea. Ooh, I make gifts. She spore jumps out with the plushies. No one is sure where she went yet.
Alright, I think that's a good place to leave it for the session, for this little mission.
Well, there's got to be a payoff to the joke, so later, when the captain goes to his quarters, he opens the door, and it's like the trouble with tribbles, except plushes pour out and over him. There's a hastily scrawled crayon note. I make you Prezi, Skipper.
And finally, after the third time, try to end this. That is where we will actually end it. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you for listening. And don't forget, Reliant at starbaseudc.com.
Oh, Rick Tier, the episode never ends.